The monitor screamed as the hospital corridor erupted into motion.
Emergency!
"Clear the way," a voice shouted.
We're losing them.
A stretcher
BP is
burst through the
crashing.
emergency doors,
Hang on.
wheels rattling wildly as nurses ran alongside it, gripping the rails. The patient lay stiff, eyes half open, chest rising in short, uneven gasps. The sound of alarms bounced off the walls, sharp and relentless. "Vitals are unstable. Get him into trauma too." "Where's the attending?" In the middle of the chaos, a nurse was shoved aside. "Move, please," a doctor snapped, not slowing down. She stumbled back, catching herself against the wall. Her badge swung forward. Nurse Amara Cole. No one noticed. Amara watched as the stretcher disappeared into the trauma room. Something felt wrong. Wrong in a way she couldn't explain yet, but her instincts were screaming. She followed. Inside, the room was chaos, wrapped in fluorescent light. Doctors crowded the bed, calling out numbers, adjusting machines, issuing orders like rapid fire. Heart rate dropping. "Prepare intervention." "Why isn't he responding?" Amara scanned the patient's face, then his hands. Her brow furrowed. "That's not right," she murmured. "What?" a resident barked. She stepped closer. "Doctor, I think, not now." He cut her off. "We're handling it." Amara swallowed, but she didn't step away. She had been with the patient earlier. She remembered his nervous laugh, the way he had hesitated before answering her question. "Any allergies?" she had asked. He had paused, then quietly said, "I react badly to certain medications. Makes my chest tight." Her pen had stopped midair. "What kind?" "I don't remember the name. They never write it down anyway." Her pulse spiked. Now, looking at him on the bed, the pieces slammed together. "Doctor," Amara said louder, voice steady but urgent. "This doesn't look like a primary cardiac issue." The room paused for half a second. The senior consultant turned sharply. "Excuse me?" "I think he's having a severe reaction," she said, "to something we gave him." A tense silence followed. "That's unlikely," the consultant said. "We followed protocol." "I know," Amara replied. "But he told me he reacts badly to certain medications. It wasn't documented." "That's not possible," another doctor said. "We would have seen it." "You didn't ask him," Amara said quietly. "I did." The consultant stared at the patient, then at the monitor, then back at her. "Why wasn't this reported?" he demanded. "I tried," she said. "The system froze. I plan to log it manually." The alarm pitch changed. Everyone looked at the screen. "His rhythm is shifting," a resident whispered. The consultant hesitated just for a second. Then, "Administer countermeasures. Now." The room snapped back into motion. Seconds stretched unbearably long. Then the monitor steadied. A long, controlled breath escaped from the patient. "He's stabilizing," someone said, disbelief in their voice. The room exhaled. Amara leaned back against the counter, hands shaking. The consultant turned to her, eyes searching her face like he was seeing her for the first time. "You were right," he said. She nodded, too drained to speak. The patient was wheeled out minutes later, alive, stable, breathing on his own. And just like that, the moment was over. The doctors left. The room reset. No one clapped. No one thanked her. Amara returned to her station. Later, in the quiet hours before dawn, another nurse leaned over and whispered, "You saved him." Amara shook her head. "We all did." "No," the nurse said softly. They were ready to give up. Across the hall, two doctors spoke in hushed tones. She challenged the call. She was right. That's not how this works. Amara pretended not to hear. She finished her shift exhausted, invisible again, until the black car arrived. It pulled into the hospital driveway just after sunrise, sleek, polished, out of place. Security stepped out first. Then a man in an expensive suit, posture rigid, eyes sharp with contained panic. He walked straight to the desk. "I'm looking for the nurse who intervened last night," he said. The receptionist blinked. "Do you have a name, sir?" "No," he said. "But I know she spoke up when everyone else stayed silent." Amara was in the hallway when she felt the air change. Conversations slowed. Heads turned. The man spotted her instantly. "You?" he said, walking toward her. "You were there." Amara froze. "Sir? My brother is alive because of you," he said, voice tight. "They told me you noticed what no one else did." Doctors gathered nearby, suddenly very interested. "I want the hospital administrator," the man said calmly. "Now." Amara's heart began to pound. She had no idea who this man was. She had no idea what he was about to do. But she knew one thing for sure. From this moment on, the hospital would never look at her the same way again. The administrator arrived faster than anyone expected. He was a tall man with a tight smile and tired eyes, the kind of smile meant to calm donors and deflect complaints. When he saw the suited man standing in the corridor, his posture stiffened instantly. "Good morning," the administrator said. "I'm Mr. Linton. How can I help you?" The man didn't return the smile. "My name is Daniel Harper. My brother was brought in here last night." Mr. Linton nodded. "Yes, Mr. Harper. I was informed he's stable." "He is," Daniel said, because one nurse refused to stay silent. Mr. Linton followed Daniel's gaze, straight to Amara. Every muscle in her body tightened. "She's the one," Daniel said. "I want her account now." Mr. Linton hesitated. "Hospital policy." "I don't care about your policy," Daniel interrupted, his voice low but sharp. "I care about the truth." The corridor had gone completely still. Mr. Linton cleared his throat. "Nurse Cole, would you join us in my office?" Amara nodded, heart racing, and followed them down the hall. Behind her, whispers ignited like sparks. Inside the office, the door closed softly, sealing the tension inside. "Please," Mr. Linton said, gesturing to a chair. Amara sat, hands folded tightly in her lap. Daniel remained standing. "Tell me exactly what happened," he said. Amara took a breath. "Your brother was prepped for imaging. I asked about allergies. He hesitated, said he'd reacted badly to certain medications before. It wasn't in his file." "Did you report it?" Mr. Linton asked. "I tried," she said. "The system froze. I planned to log it manually, but before I could, he was rushed into emergency." "And when you spoke up?" Daniel asked. "I was dismissed," Amara said simply, "until it was almost too late." Silence followed. Daniel turned to Mr. Linton. "How many nurses work here?" "Hundreds," Mr. Linton replied cautiously. "And how many of them feel safe contradicting a doctor?" Daniel asked. Mr. Linton didn't answer. "That silence," Daniel said, "is the problem." Mr. Linton folded his hands. "We appreciate Nurse Cole's initiative, truly, but protocol exists for a reason." Amara looked up. Protocol should never be more important than listening. The word surprised even her. Mr. Linton raised an eyebrow. Daniel smiled faintly. "Exactly." Mr. Linton sighed. "Mr. Harper, what are you asking for?" Daniel finally sat down. "Accountability and recognition." Mr. Linton stiffened. "Recognition? My brother nearly died because no one wanted to hear a nurse," Daniel said. "That ends now." Mr. Linton nodded slowly. "We'll review the incident." "That's not enough," Daniel replied. "I want her protected. I want her voice respected." Mr. Linton glanced at Amara. "Change like that takes time." Daniel leaned forward. "So does trust. You're almost out of it." When they left the office, the hospital buzzed louder than before. Amara walked back to her station, heart still pounding. A senior doctor stopped her. "Careful," he said quietly. "About what?" she asked. "You don't make friends by embarrassing people," he replied. "I wasn't trying to embarrass anyone," Amara said. "I was trying to save a life." He studied her for a moment. Intent doesn't change consequences. The words followed her all day. By afternoon, the atmosphere had shifted. Conversation stopped when she entered rooms. Orders were given curtly. She felt eyes on her everywhere. During lunch, a nurse whispered, "You're all anyone's talking about." "Is that good or bad?" Amara asked. The nurse grimaced. "Depends who you ask." Later, she was called into a meeting. The room held 3 doctors and Mr. Linton. "Sit," Mr. Linton said. Amara did. "We've reviewed last night's incident," he began. "While the outcome was positive, your actions raised concerns." "Concerns?" Amara repeated. "You bypassed the chain of command," one doctor said. "I tried to follow it," she replied. "I was ignored." "That's not your call," another said. "Then whose is it?" Amara asked, voice trembling. "If speaking up saves a patient, whose call should it be?" Silence. Mr. Linton sighed. "We're issuing a formal warning." Her chest tightened. "A warning?" "Yes," he said, "for disruption." Her hands shook. "So, if I hadn't spoken up?" Mr. Linton looked away. The meeting ended quickly. Amara walked out numb. That evening, she sat alone in the locker room, staring at her reflection. Tired eyes. Hair pulled back too tight. A woman who loved her job and was being punished for it. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. "Hello?" "This is Daniel Harper," the voice said. "They warned you, didn't they?" Her breath caught. "How did you—" "I know how institutions work," he said, "and I won't let them bury this." "What do you want from me?" she asked quietly. "Your story," he replied. "All of it." Amara swallowed. "Why?" "Because silence almost killed my brother," he said. "And because people need to see what courage really looks like." Tears burned her eyes. "I'm scared," she admitted. "So was my brother," Daniel said, "until you spoke." The line went quiet. Amara closed her eyes. For the first time, she realized something frightening and powerful at the same time. This wasn't over. It was just beginning. The story didn't stay inside the hospital. It leaked. Quietly at first, whispers in hallways, screenshots of internal messages, a vague post on social media that read, "A nurse spoke up and saved a life." Guess what she got? A warning. By the next morning, it had 100 shares. By noon, thousands. Amara found out when a patient looked at her and said, "You're that nurse, aren't you?" Her stomach dropped. "I'm sorry. The one online," the woman said, smiling. "The brave one." Amara forced a polite smile, but her hands were shaking. In the break room, phones buzzed nonstop. "Have you seen this? They're talking about our hospital. Management is furious." A senior nurse pulled Amara aside. "You need to be careful." "I didn't post anything," Amara said. "I know," the nurse replied. "But you're the face now." That afternoon, Mr. Linton called an emergency staff meeting. The room was packed. Doctors stood along the walls. Nurses filled every seat. Mr. Linton cleared his throat. We are aware of certain narratives circulating online. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. These stories are incomplete, he continued. They damage trust. Someone spoke up. What about the warning? The room went silent. Mr. Linton's jaw tightened. This meeting is not for debate. Amara felt her heart hammering. She raised her hand. Gasps. Mr. Linton hesitated. Nurse Cole? She stood slowly. With respect, sir. People are upset because they recognize something familiar. And what's that? He asked. Being told to stay quiet, she said. Even when it matters. The room exploded into whispers. Mr. Linton's voice hardened. Sit down. She didn't. We tell patients to advocate for themselves, Amara continued, voice trembling but clear. But when we do the same, we're punished. The doctor snapped. This is inappropriate. So was ignoring a warning, she shot back. The room went dead still. Mr. Linton ended the meeting abruptly. That evening, Amara walked to her car under a sky heavy with clouds. She felt exposed, like the walls she'd hidden behind her whole career had vanished overnight. Her phone rang. Daniel Harper. It's getting louder, he said. I never wanted this, Amara replied. I just wanted to help. I know, he said. That's why it matters. She leaned against her car. They're trying to push me out. Are you going to let them? Daniel asked. She closed her eyes. Memories surfaced. Late night studying, her mother working double shifts, the promise she'd made to herself to be the kind of nurse who listened. No, she said quietly. But I don't know how to fight this. You won't fight it alone, Daniel said. I've spoken to the board. Her eyes flew open. The board? They're requesting a formal review, he said, and they want you present. Fear and hope collided in her chest. The review happened 3 days later. A long table, blank faces, clipboards. Amara sat alone on one side. Mr. Linton and 2 senior doctors sat on the other. Describe the incident, a board member said. Amara spoke slowly, carefully. Every word felt heavy. When she finished, one doctor leaned forward. You disrupted a critical moment. And saved a life, she replied. By luck, he said. She shook her head. By listening. A board member turned to Mr. Linton. Why was she warned? Mr. Linton adjusted his tie. To reinforce protocol. And if she hadn't spoken? Another asked. Silence. The door opened. Daniel Harper stepped in. I'm sorry, he said. Am I late? The room shifted instantly. I'd like to add something, Daniel said. My brother asked for Nurse Cole by name this morning. That caught their attention. He said she was the first person who treated him like a human. Daniel continued. Not a chart, not a liability. Amara's throat tightened. The board dismissed everyone an hour later. No decision. Yet. That night, Amara sat on her bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment. Doubt gnawed at her. What if she'd gone too far? What if she lost everything? Her phone buzzed again, a message from an unknown number. Because of you, I spoke up today too. Then another. Thank you for being brave. Then dozens more. Nurses, patients, strangers. Amara pressed a hand to her mouth as tears spilled over. The next morning, she was called back in. This time, the room felt different. Mr. Linton didn't sit at the head of the table. A board member did. We've reached a decision, the woman said. Amara held her breath. We cannot ignore what this incident revealed, the woman continued. Not just about one night, but about this institution. Mr. Linton stared at the table. We are implementing immediate changes. the board member said, including new reporting protections. Hope flared. And Nurse Cole, the woman added, we owe you an apology. Amara blinked, but the woman wasn't finished. There is one more thing. Amara's heart thundered. We believe leadership should come from those who act when it matters most. Mr. Linton finally looked up. Amara felt the weight of the room settle on her, and suddenly she understood. Everything was about to change. The room held its breath. Amara could hear her own heartbeat, loud and unsteady, as the board member folded her hands on the table. We've reviewed not only the incident, the woman said, but your entire record. Amara's stomach tightened. Years of consistent evaluations, no disciplinary issues, countless notes from patients praising your compassion. Mr. Linton shifted in his chair. And yet, the board member continued, you were nearly silenced. Amara swallowed. The woman turned slightly. Do you know why institutions fail? Amara shook her head. Because they reward obedience more than courage, the board member said. And we intend to correct that. A murmur spread through the room. The board member looked directly at Amara. Effective immediately, your warning is rescinded. Amara's breath hitched. Furthermore, the woman said, we are restructuring nursing leadership. Mr. Linton stiffened. With respect, this decision is final, the board member said calmly. She returned her attention to Amara. We believe leadership should be visible, accessible, and unafraid to speak. The words landed slowly. We are offering you the position of head nurse. For a moment, Amara thought she'd misheard. The room blurred. Her voice broke. I'm sorry. What? The board member smiled gently. You heard correctly. Silence. Then Daniel Harper let out a breathy laugh from the corner of the room. Amara's hands flew to her mouth. I don't understand, she whispered. There are nurses who've been here longer, more qualified. They didn't stand when it mattered, the board member replied. You did? Mr. Linton looked away. The meeting ended quietly. Amara walked out of the room in a daze. In the hallway, nurses gathered, watching her face for answers. Well? Someone asked. She shook her head, overwhelmed. I don't know how to say this. Daniel stepped forward. Say it. She took a breath. They offered me head nurse. The hallway erupted. Hands flew to mouths. Someone gasped. Someone else laughed through tears. She deserves it. Finally. This changes everything. A senior nurse pulled Amara into a hug. You spoke for all of us. Amara's eyes filled. I didn't mean to. That's why it matters, the nurse said. Later that evening, Amara stood alone in the now quiet ward. The lights were dimmed, machines humming softly. She ran her fingers along the counter, absorbing the weight of the place. Footsteps approached. She turned. It was Daniel. My brother asked me to thank you again, he said. He's going home tomorrow. Amara smiled. I'm glad. Daniel hesitated. You changed more than his outcome. She shook her head. I just listened. Exactly, he said. The next morning, Amara walked into the hospital differently. Not louder, not arrogant, just seen. Doctors nodded. Nurses smiled openly. Patients looked relieved when they saw her badge. A young nurse approached her nervously. Can I ask you something? Of course, Amara said. What if I notice something and I'm wrong? The nurse asked. Amara met her eyes. Then we learn. But if you're right and you stay quiet, someone could get hurt. The nurse nodded, steadier now. Weeks passed. Changes followed. Suggestion boxes turned into meetings. Nurses were invited into discussions they'd never been part of before. The atmosphere shifted, not overnight, but noticeably. One afternoon, Amara visited Daniel's brother before discharge. He smiled when he saw her. "You're famous, you know." She laughed softly. "I don't want to be." "Well," he said, "you made me feel safe." That mattered more. On her way out, Amara paused near the entrance. A small plaque was being installed. She leaned closer and read the words etched into the metal. "Here, voices matter." She felt tears gather. Later that night, after her shift, Amara sat in her car and let the quiet wrap around her. The fear, the doubt, the loneliness, it all felt distant now. Not gone, but changed. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "I spoke up today because of you." Amara closed her eyes and smiled. The world hadn't changed overnight, but one moment, one voice, one nurse, had shifted something important, and this time, no one would overlook her again. If this story moved you, even a little, don't scroll away yet. Stories like this exist because people choose courage over silence, because someone decides to speak when it would be easier to stay quiet. If you believe voices matter, hit the like button so this story can reach more people who need it. If you've ever been ignored, underestimated, or told to stay in your lane, subscribe. This channel is for you. And tell me in the comments, what would you have done in her place? Your voice matters more than you think.